A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm going to show you how to play all of these chords. I'm also going to include a couple of handy hints that will help improve your playing in the longer term. Before we get to A major, I'm going to show you how to read these chord charts that I'll be using throughout. It's kind of showing our guitar like this. So we've got the strings that run across. If there's a cross next to the string, it means that we don't play it. If there's a little circle above the string, that means we play the open string. Going down, we've got the frets. And the big dots with the numbers in them, those are your fingers. So they're showing you which fret to play on which string. And they'll be numbered 1 to 4 to show which finger you use. So number 1 is our index, 2 is our middle, 3 is our ring finger, and 4 is our little finger. So let's use that chord chart to figure out how to play A. So we're not playing the 6th string. We're going to play an open 5th string. We're going to use our first finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. Our second finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Our third finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and then an open 1st string. So that gives us. Alright, now on to B. Now B is a really special chord on this list. It's really unique and it's one that you're going to learn a lot from. And it's unique because it doesn't have its own shape. It's just A again. Let's take a closer look. So we're starting off with our first finger on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Then our second finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the 4th string. Our third finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the 3rd string. And then our 4th finger is going to be on the 4th fret of the 2nd string. And then there's 2 ways that you can do this. We can either just play what we've got, or you can do what's called a bar chord. And what this is we're using our first finger here to fret that 2nd fret on the 5th string, but also the 2nd fret on the 1st string. Like that. So we're just using the outside edge, this bit here, just to rest down on that 1st fret. So we're catching all the strings, but we're only going to hear that 5th string and that 1st string. Now, bar chords can be a little bit tricky, so don't worry if you can't get it straight away. As I said, a handy hint is use that outside edge of your finger. Don't try and do it flat because that's just going to hurt your hands. And you can see how this is just the A shape moved up. And what this should start doing is getting you thinking about how we can move all these chord shapes around the fretboards to get different chords elsewhere. This will be more relevant later on in your guitar journey, but it's a really good one to start just thinking about now. For C, we're going to be doing a little bit of a stretch, which can be a bit tricky. What we're doing is we're putting our third finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, our second finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, we're playing an open 3rd string, and then our first finger is going to be on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then we're playing an open 1st string. So that gives us. Now, the trick to this is just making sure that you've got enough clearance for those open strings. You don't want your fingers to catch them and give you that sound because that won't sound very good. You want the nice open ringing sound. Now, I remember when I was getting started, I had a real hard time with C and a couple of the other chords. And my hand would just kind of do that thing where you try and make sure that you get it in the right position, but your fingers kind of flick all around. If that's happening to you, don't worry about it. It goes away once you build up the muscle memory. Now on to D. For D, we're just playing these bottom 4 strings. So we're going to play an open 4th string. Then our first finger's going to be on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Our third finger is going to be on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And then our second finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Now, one thing that I want you to do is to start thinking about the notes that make up these chords instead of just the shapes themselves. It's a really quick and easy thing that you can add into learning these shapes that will help improve your guitar playing later on down the road. Now on to E. Now we're using all our strings for E to get that lovely rich sound. So we're starting off with an open 6th string. Then our 2nd finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the 5th string. Our 3rd finger is going to be on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And then our 1st finger is going to be on the 1st fret of the 3rd string. And then we're playing those bottom 2 strings open. Now, as a trick for E, if we take that E major shape and we just move it down 1 string, so we just shift it down, we've got A minor. And I'll make sure to follow up this video with the minor chords at some point, but you've already got 1 shape down. Now F. F can be a bit tricky. It's the one that I think most people, certainly I, had the hardest time with. And it's all to do with how we're playing those bottom 2 notes. But with some practice and some good technique, you'll be able to crack it. So we're just playing those bottom 4 strings. So we're playing the 3rd fret with our 3rd finger on the 4th string. The 2nd fret with our 2nd finger on the 3rd string. And then we're going to use our 1st string to play the 1st frets on the 2nd and 1st string. Like that. Now, a really common beginner mistake is trying to use the flat part of your 1st finger to fret those 2 notes at the bottom. I recommend not doing that. Instead, use the inside part here. So you're lying it on its side, and that will be a lot more comfortable. You'll see how it matches the angle of your hand. Whereas if you try and play it like that, it just creates a lot of strain and you're probably going to hurt your hand doing that. Now this fact isn't just for F, but any chord, and that's if you play each note individually, that's called an arpeggio. It might come up later in your playing, especially if you're interested in that sort of metal thrash sweep picking. And finally, we've got G. And it's another one that uses all 6 strings, so it's a really nice sounding chord. So what we're doing is we're playing the 3rd fret of the 6th string with our 2nd finger, the 2nd fret of the 5th string with our 1st, then we're going to play an open 4th string and an open 3rd string, then we're going to use our 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string, and then our 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st. So that gives us... And that's it. These are your beginner major chord shapes. And the best thing that you can do is just really work on getting these shapes down and practice them really slowly. And eventually, over time, your muscle memory will kick in and you'll be able to transition between them really, really quickly. But it will take a little bit of time and can be a little bit frustrating, but stick with it, you will get it. After that, I'd recommend learning the minor shapes. So then you've got the major and minor, and you're really building up that solid foundation of playing. But if you like this video, give it a like to help it reach more people, and subscribe for more guitar stuff. Thanks.